What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Tough Runs Don't Last podcast. I'm your host, Graham Powell, going solo, at least for this one, maybe in the future too. I don't know, but just want to kind of give you an update. It's been a few weeks since we've had an episode. Michelle and I both, life has just kind of gotten in the way. I've been fully booked the last 2 weekends. Real, yeah, these past 2 weekends, Michelle's had her own stuff going on, so we just kind of can't get on the right schedule or even get get a day together to where we can put together a full episode that's worthy of putting something out there. But basically, this might turn into a podcast where it's just me, and it could be a situation to where I'm just kind of pumping out 10 minutes worth of content here and there or more some days. I don't know. We'll see what happens, but just kind of want to give you an idea of what to expect moving forward as I'm rocking my beast pacing hat here. I do want to say Tough Runs Don't Last, still presented by Rhino Races. For those of you that don't know, Rhino Races is a virtual race series that offers 5 different races: a 5K, a 10K, a half marathon, a marathon, and the Rhino Ultra. You can sign up for one or all 5 of their races at rhinoraces.com. Run your race at your convenience. Track it with your fitness app of choice. Screenshot your results as proof of completion. Submit that screenshot to rhinoraces.com under the submit results section. Once your results are verified by Rhino Races staff, your award will be shipped to you by mail. Also, check out their gear section for t-shirts, wristbands, decals, and more. That's rhinoraces.com. Rhino Races is the premier virtual running series. And again, you can find the Tough Runs Don't Last podcast on Spotify and Apple Podcast. You can still subscribe to the YouTube channel and follow us on X at TR Don't Last. And I don't know if we'll still be rocking the Instagram and TikTok pages. Like I said, Michelle runs that, but we'll see what happens moving forward. We might bring her back here and there. Yeah, no rift between the two of us or anything like that. Just she's got her own life, plenty of stuff going on. I do too. But quick update on Rhino Races. Rhino Races just had I believe, 5 or 6 new Hall of Fame inductees within the last month or two. So come be a part of the premier virtual running series. It's really catching on right now, even in this heat. You can run your races indoors. You're not going to get your fastest time indoors, but you are still going to be given credit for completion. Just make sure your tracking device has a speed sensor on it, say like your watch or something like that, and your auto pause settings are turned off. You can find more info on rhinoraces.com and also find out how to begin your Hall of Fame journey. And you can do that as soon as today, or at least sign up for it. Okay, back to running. All right, so when we last spoke, I basically gotten my butt kicked by the uh, Andy Buschmann 4 miler in Batesville. It was the first really hot race of the season, and yeah, I wasn't prepared for it. There was a big kind of lull in between the first 10 Grand Prix races and what's going to be the last 10, or at least that from 10 to 11, there was about a 6 week break, give or take. And I'd said going into that, all right, I'm going to use this time to get better, and be ready for this next one, this last stretch, or this last half of the Grand Prix series, Grand Prix 2024 in the state of Arkansas. Well, life got in the way. I've, as someone that works full time at a hospital, me, and runs his side business, CEO of Rhino Races, and does a weekly sports podcast with his best friend and a running podcast on the side here and there on top of that, and everything else with life in between, mowing yards and just doing your basic errands like everybody else does, not making excuses. The point is, I was not as dedicated as I thought I would be going into, or as I wanted to be going into that race. And it showed. I got humbled. I still had, I guess, what would be considered a pretty decent time for me. but still, and probably wouldn't have placed any higher than I would have in my age group otherwise. But I just didn't feel very good about it. I didn't walk away from that race feeling good. I felt like I could have been better. So I made it a point. There were a couple of weeks in between that and what was the 12th race of the Grand Prix series, the Benton 2 miler. That was not this past weekend, but the Saturday before last in Benton. And it was obviously Benton 2 miler, but it was a 2 mile race and it was much flatter than the Batesville, unfortunately. But I made it a point to prepare myself for this one, get better prepared. And I had a much stronger showing there. Came in at 14 minutes, 12 seconds, and which was 7 seconds faster than my 2 mile time at what was the shirt I'm wearing. For those of you watching on Spotify and YouTube, the Chase race, the Chase, the Chase race and pause, I believe, because they have something for like a 1 mile race for you can run with your dog after it, which is pretty neat. But I couldn't bring Dexter because he's almost 14 years old, and so and he's not his running days are over. So we were just it was just me there, and it was cold. It was early March, so it was pretty cold out. So considering it was very cold out at that race and much hotter, it was already hot. We're that time of year in Arkansas, late June. It's just hot. It's really hot, and it was hot at 7:30 in the morning when the race started the Saturday before last, and yet I still came in 7 seconds faster than I did in Conway. So that showed me I was better prepared for this one this time around. So I couldn't help but come away pleased with that. I felt very good about that, and I ended up I went from I had my dog with me. My brother and dad met me there that morning. They were in Hot Springs. My family took a weekend trip to Hot Springs, like my whole family, all my siblings, my dad, niece and nephew, brother's wife, sister's girlfriend, or excuse me, sister's boyfriend. Sorry, Tanner. But we all met or they all went that Friday night. I came that Saturday morning because from where I live in Cabot, Arkansas, to Benton is about 50 minutes south, and Hot Springs is the next big town south of Benton. So everything was on the way, and like Hot Springs to me from Cabot is a 90-minute drive. So it just made I didn't want to hurry up and get off work Friday and then come home and then drive to Hot Springs that night, get no sleep, and then get up and go to Benton the next. No, it's too much work. So I just came home that Friday, packed my car beforehand because I knew I was bringing my dog with me. Set it up in advance. Have my dad meet me at the race to where he could just watch Dexter with it being just a 2 mile race, and then just get in the car and go to Hot Springs from there, already packed up. And that's what I did. And it worked to a charm. My brother Ben was there. Had he known about it, he would have run too and would have run much faster, but he was at least there to help with my dog. Not that Dexter's a lot to keep up with or anything. He's slow, and he was wore out. This is how hot it was. By the time we were ready to kind of got out of there, I got him in the car at like 9 a.m. and he was burning up and exhausted. That's how hot it was. I got him in the car and cranked the air as high as it would go. That's how hot it was. And the race itself was well done. Saline County Striders kind of in charge of everything. They had what's called Italian ice for runners afterward. Although the line was too big for me to want to wait on it, and plus we were wanting to go to Hot Springs because my sister was supposed to be cooking breakfast, and which we really didn't end up eating. It almost turned into lunch or brunch, basically, just because that's how much time it took. We could have taken our time a little more getting back, which is why I wasn't in the team picture or group picture, Cabot Cruisers. So sorry about that. Had to cut out because was trying to make good time to get to Hot Springs and get breakfast and all that with eat breakfast with the fam there at our Airbnb, which was awesome, by the way. Uh, yeah, I got more than we bargained for. Of course, I don't know how much it was, but more than we bargained for. Staying at an Airbnb in Hot Springs, beautiful downtown Hot Springs. I mean, we were a few blocks from downtown. It was awesome. But yeah, I was pleased with my showing at the Benton 2 miler. After that, went to Hot Springs. My brother and dad went to Academy. My brother got some new running shoes, which he wouldn't shut up about the entire weekend because he loved them so much. I don't know that he took them off the entire weekend. Might have slept in them actually. Being mildly facetious, but yeah, we. I get to Hot Springs and I don't shower or anything because Ben had mentioned wanting to run there in Hot Springs that afternoon. I said, okay, sure. And so we had breakfast. It was a good breakfast, very, or brunch, I guess you could say. Pretty light brunch. And then Ben and I went for a 4 mile run in the heat in Hot Springs, which was definitely more hilly than where we were running in Benton. Not that Benton doesn't have hills, but the course was very flat that we ran. But Ben and I ran all around the neighborhoods, ran around Oaklawn, the horse racing track casino area, ran all around that property before turning around and coming back. And oh, it was hot. It was very hot by then. I had burned well over 1,000 calories by 1 o'clock, 1 p.m., maybe even noon. I don't remember. It was probably about 1 p.m. or so. And we went to DeLuca's Pizza that night, and man, I ate so much pizza, which I felt like crap because DeLuca's is good like bar pie, but it's not I wouldn't say it's the healthiest, but it was pretty greasy. Good for the kind of pizza it is. If that's your thing, bar pie, you like it well done. It's a good pie for what it is, but probably not it's definitely not the most nutritious thing in the world to eat. But I was hungry, hadn't eaten much that day. The brunch was very light. It was good, but it was very light. So I needed some food in me, and like, yeah, it was not the most nutritious meal. I kind of felt like I'd canceled everything out that I'd done that morning, but I didn't. And but it was nonetheless a great weekend in Hot Springs. Had fun, seeing the fam. Ate much better the following day, that Sunday at my uncle's. He grilled hot dogs and brats, or excuse me, not hot dogs, hamburgers and brats. Had probably the best baked beans, at least top three I've ever had in my life from Sam's of all places. Ate some watermelon. There was dessert there, but I didn't eat it. I'm not a dessert person. It's maybe like a frozen yogurt, but here and there for me. But dessert's not my thing. I'm more of a fruit and, like I said, yogurt guy. But great weekend in Hot Springs, seeing the fam and all that, getting a run in, doing well at the Benton 2 miler, which was race number 12 in the Grand Prix series. So it felt good to have a strong showing before my next one, which is next month, July. I believe it's July 15th, 13th, or 5th. I believe it's July 13th is gosh, it's a really long name, like the Brent Morrison uh, Never Forgotten Memorial 8K. It's a really long name, and I think it's listed that it's in Fort Smith, but I think it's technically in Barling, which another race is there called the Stampede 10K, another Grand Prix race that's set for later this year in the fall. So we'll get some cooler weather for that one, but you know, and an 8K is the next one. So whatever that is, 5 miles, give or take. I could look it up, but yeah, it's the one thing about this podcast you'll find is I'm going to be just kind of shooting from the hip. My sports podcast, we plan everything out usually when we have time for it. Well, I mean, we got a script and everything. This one, but I hit record and I go. That's what me and Michelle do. It just kind of feels not that I mean, you need to be prepared for certain things on my other show, which is a sports podcast called Shoe Booty Sports, by the way. You can find it on all the places you can. This podcast, if you're interested. But this one, I can just hit the record button and go, because we're not going to just talk about running. Uh, we're going to talk about life and other things too. And by we, I mean me right now. So, like I said, Michelle could be back in the future, but it could also just be me moving forward. We'll find out. But yeah, it's an 8K race. I've never run an 8K race before, so we'll see how that goes. But surely I'll be back with another podcast. It'll either be this weekend or next weekend or sometime after that. I don't know. It just kind of depends on what the schedule is going to lay out for me, and but I'll keep you updated on my training runs and things like that. My training runs have been up to, I mean, I've been keeping up with that and pretty consistent Monday, Wednesday runs. That's the best time for me. I'll be back. I'll be outside tomorrow, getting miles in, getting a little over 4 miles in, just a little over 4.25 miles. Um, I want to do it during the day. I want to run in the heat. Like it won't be afternoon. It'll be probably around 6 or 7 when it's still daylight out. But not at its worst, not at its worst during the day. But still, I mean, it's still very hot right now at 10:17 p.m. Or at least very muggy out. So uh, I stay inside as much as I can when I'm not when I'm not trying to sweat. Fortunately, my AC unit is pretty new. It's less than 2 years old, and I'm religious about changing my filter every month. So I take care of that thing as well as I can. I keep the grass off of it outside. Don't blow the grass from the mower near it. I'm very particular about it. So AC works great in other words. But been on top of my training runs and been doing yard work on the weekends, pretty much every weekend. I just have to do mine now. I was mowing my friend Haley's yard because it's the least I could do for all she does for me. She lets me mooch off of her streaming services. Which honestly, that would have been enough to get me to mow her yard if she ever wanted to play hardball. Uh, but she also takes care of what's now our dog Dexter because she's earned mom status as far as how well she takes care of my elderly dog. So shout out to her, by the way, for all she does for me and Dexter. And uh, and she basically said last weekend, I've got somebody else that can take care of my yard for me, and and I left it up to her. I was like, whatever you want to do as far as that goes. I'll do it if you want me to, but it would be nice to have that extra time off every weekend. And so she was like, yeah, I'll have somebody else take care of it. So I'm just going to help out when the person taking over can't do it. So it will be nice to just have my yard to do, but I've been using my mowing as a training session essentially. I mean, because I sweat more when I mowed on Sunday. I had a funeral to go to Saturday. A family friend. I won't get into that, but um, uh, went to a funeral Saturday and was with family the rest of the day, and my mom in particular. And then so that just left Sunday to mow and catch up on sleep. I slept 10 hours Sunday, slept till 1 p.m. I'd gotten up like one time to let my dog out just before 9 a.m. And I said, I'm not getting up yet. I'm still tired. I'm going back to sleep. I didn't set an alarm or anything. I was like, I'll get up when I'm ready. And so I finally wake up and look at the clock. It's 1 p.m. So I'm like, okay, all right. So I basically got up. I knew Michelle and I really didn't have time to put a podcast together. I put it out there, and she just she couldn't do it by then. So all right, well, I'll get to it when I get to it when I can. The goal was for later that evening, and by the time I got cleaned up and sat down, it was no, it wasn't happening. It was too late at night, and I was exhausted. I mean, I sweat a lot Sunday, which is good. I'm not complaining. I mean, it's very hot. Like I said, I use mowing. I enjoy mowing, but I also use it as like a training session for me. So you got to do what you got to do to get your sweat on when you've got a schedule like all of us have these days. A lot of us have, some of us 2 and 3 jobs just to pay the bills with the current economy and the way housing is and groceries and when you go to the grocery store and when's the last time you gone to the grocery store and spent less than $100? I mean, we're all dealing with that. So I mean, this stuff, everything's going up with wages. So some of us have 2 and 3 jobs just so we can make ends meet. So, but you still got to take care of yourself, and you still got to find a way to get your sweat on and get your miles in, or whatever it is. Um, and I consider I've put mowing into the category of getting a workout on because it's a push mower. I don't have a zero turn or riding lawnmower at all, any kind. I got a push mower that's not self propelled. I don't like self propelled mowers, by the way. I want to be able to do it the way I want to do it. If I need to go back over a blade of grass that's sticking up or is pesky, I want to do that. I don't need a self propel. I want that push. I want that extra work that I have to, put in to get something out of it. And quite frankly, they just do a better job as far as I'm concerned. Just your basic push mower without the self propel. But got my weed eating on too. Sprayed some Roundup in the yard. That was fun keeping the dog and cat out of it. By the way, just making sure they didn't get into that. But God, it makes it so much easier to mow. Cuts my weed eating down from 30 minutes to like 5 every time I mow. So worth it. As long as the animals don't hurt themselves in any way, then definitely worth it. But it is something I have to keep an eye on. Um, but I consider that a workout, and as much as I sweat, it's believe me, it is one, especially this time of year. And this weekend looks like I'll get a run in this weekend. I might mow my yard again, so maybe not, because it really needs it every week right now. But I'm going to play with my new hedge clippers that I got on some bushes out in front of my place that really need it desperately. So I will be out in the yard at least one day this weekend doing some kind of work, whether it's just hedge clippers or mowing with hedge clippers. I don't know. We'll see what happens. But bear with me for a sec while I get some water. But that's what I've been up to. Um, like I said, this podcast is going to be short and sweet, maybe from here moving forward. But I'll put out as many episodes as I can and keep everyone updated. But yeah, my training schedule for this week will be nothing out of the norm. 4+ mile training runs on tomorrow, Wednesday, and Thursday, and possibly this weekend too. I'll be getting at least one day in the yard, so may count that, or may get another training run in. We'll see what happens. I want to be better by the time this 8K comes up next month, and uh, I want to have a strong showing. And it'll be one of those out of town races that I have to. If it's 2+ hours away, I'm probably going to get a hotel the night before. So that's going to be my plan. I mean, Fort Smith is a big enough area. I mean, you can plenty of options for hotels. So I'll be probably looking into that, checking my budget in the process, making sure I can. But that's my plan. And so I will be back next week to talk more about my training runs. And because no race between then, I did sign up to pace another half, but that will be in late October, October 20th in Fayetteville, Arkansas. So I do look forward to that. Anytime I have Beast Pacing, rocking the hat here. Shout out Beast Pacing, making an appearance on the Tough Runs Don't Last podcast this evening. And yeah, I'm really excited about the rest of the year as far as racing goes. And I mean, it's a year I'm really proud of as far as racing goes. It's been a really tough year in my personal life. I'll spare everyone the details for that. I'll just say it's been a rough year. Not complaining. Uh, just just letting you know it's been tough. It's been a really tough year, but I'm really proud of anytime I could have something to be proud of this year. I'm excited about that. I'm happy about that. And to date, the race schedule is something I am very proud of. And when you are going through tough times, it's good you got to have something to keep your mind occupied and something you can be proud of and work toward and get better at. It's crucial. It's crucial for not only just, in this case, your physical health, but in general with what I'm talking about, your mental health too. You need to take care of that just as much as your physical health. It's something people that don't know what everybody's going through, they can kind of scoff at, just they're weak, not strong enough mentally. It's like, yeah, well, you don't know what that person's going through. You're not walking in their shoes. Everybody's fighting a battle that you know nothing about. And some of those battles are a lot worse than others. So I would just say keep that in mind when you're thinking about other people in that situation. Don't necessarily be quick to judge. I mean, this is all stuff that most of us already know. Just reiterating it, but point is, in many ways, I guess this is the point. I don't know. Running has really kind of saved me in a lot of ways when I wasn't sure if there was something that out there that could, um, at least as far as giving me something to get up in the morning for, be excited about, be happy about, just happy. Been a lot of down days, a lot of tough days over these last 4+ months for me. And running's been there for me. My parents have been there for me. My dog's been there for me. My cat, which I found out as a girl, by the way, my cat Ichabod. I found out as a girl and is fixed. She was a stray. Uh, but I've stuck with the name Ichabod just because what am I going to change it to? Like Ichabella? I don't know. I think we'll just go with Ichabod. If you have any name suggestions, let me know. But I think we're going to stick with Ichabod because that's what she knows, or just Ick. I usually just call her Ick. Um, but yeah, parents Dexter, Ick. They've been there for me for a lot of those tough nights. So shout out for them and friends, Michelle included. Um, uh, can't be thankful enough for those people and God's creatures, in my life. But day by day, I'm getting through it. I don't want to let what I'm going through beat me. And that's why I keep running, keep doing the things I love, like this podcast, my other podcast, reading, writing, running running my side business, Rhino Races. Don't let what you're going through keep you down. You beat it by how you live. And as I say that, it's even tough to practice what I preach. It's so much easier to sit there and say it to somebody, when you don't know what they're dealing with. It's easy to sit there and just say it and not necessarily, but even as I say it, it's hard for me to practice that and to remember that. And and to tell yourself what you're going through isn't, it's not going to be there forever. Like it's not going to be in your life kicking your ass for the rest of it. But even no matter how hard it is in the present. But it's easier to say that. It's so much easier to say that than, deal with it. I don't know, but I didn't necessarily expect to go down this road. But again, it's the Tough Runs Don't Last podcast for a reason. And that name doesn't just apply to runs. You can apply that to anything in life. Whatever you're going through, no matter how tough it is, it's not going to last. You're going to get through it. Stay strong, keep pushing forward. In my case, I'll keep running, I'll keep podcasting, I'll keep doing everything I enjoy doing. And I hope all of you do the same in whatever you're going through in life. Um, wish all of you the best. And I'm going to hopefully be back on a more consistent basis moving forward. Like I said, it was a few weeks, like we haven't had an episode. And my plan was originally to put this episode out tomorrow night, like Wednesday night, but I'm recording it Tuesday night. I'll have it posted Wednesday morning, because y'all have waited 3 weeks. You can 3.5 weeks, whatever it's been. You can probably wait another 12 hours, right? But it's good to be back. It's good to put out an episode. I'm going to be back. I'm not going anywhere. Just wanted to give everyone an update on what we've been dealing with, and just let you know we're still around, not going anywhere, and give you an update on what I've been up to in the running world. And I want to hear from all of you too. Like, what are you training for? What's keeping you moving? Not you don't have to be in a big time race series to uh, have motivation to get out and go. Some people that's not their thing. They have their own reasons for doing it, whether it's health reasons, cosmetic reasons, uh, mental health reasons. We all are a combination of all that. If you're me, but what keeps you moving? Uh, Let me know in the comments, and yeah, just remember, keep pushing forward. So I will get out of here, and I'll see y'all next time, whenever that may be. Stay tuned. Spotify, Apple, YouTube. Uh, Again, follow us on X for sure right now. That's where I will post links to the episodes and give you updates. Post things like that. Lots of retweets primarily, right? But if you follow us, but we like our tweets here and there. But it's mostly just to share information about our episodes. That's at TR Don't Last on X. And we are on Instagram and TikTok if you want to give us follows there too. But until then, I'm going to get out of here. It's been fun to be back and talk to you all. And we, one, will. We're all one. We're all one nation under Tough Runs Don't Last. So no matter what you're going through, stay tough, stay strong, keep running, and I'll see you all next time. Whenever that may be on the Tough Runs Don't Last podcast. I'm Graham Powell. See y'all next time.